All right, Harris, let's take a look at your winners of the trade deadline, the Pittsburgh Pirates included.
No, and they are my number one winner because they got the best player that was realistically available. I put realistically available because, Bryce Harper. But overall, with the Pirates, I mean, look, you get a guy of Chris Archer's repertoire. You only, I say in quotations, give up Austin Meadows, who doesn't really have a consistent starting spot, seeing as the Pirates have a lot of good outfielders, whether, Dickerson, Marte, Polanco. Like, there's not a lot of space for Meadows. And then Tyler Glasnow has been a pretty big disappointment for the Pirates in terms of, them hoping he'd turn into an elite starting pitcher. So instead of waiting for Glasnow to, turn into something, they traded for an elite starter with 3 years of control. I think the price that they paid for Archer was a fair price. I don't think they overpaid. I don't think they underpaid. It is a fair price for Chris Archer, a really good prospect and a pitcher who still has good stuff. That is a fine package for Chris Archer. The Rays say thank you. The Pirates say thank you. Good bit of business for both.
And hey, the Rays are winners too for you, Harris.
Yeah.
Great job by them.
It was a great job by them because you need to kind of, if you're the Rays, you needed to start making some moves and getting some young players onto this team. There's no reason for you to have a 30-year-old starting pitcher or elite starting pitcher on your team if you're not going to be a legitimate factor in the playoffs, especially in the AL East. I like them getting Meadows. He's going to be an instant starter for them. I like them getting Glasnow. He's going to be a starter for them as well. And I understand them moving on for Wilson Ramos. I know they're not going to get that much back, but it's fine. It's Wilson Ramos. Like, it's July. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
The Tommy Pham thing is really confusing, seeing as they also traded for Austin Meadows and they already have Malik Smith on the team, but they'll figure it out. I think the Rays will be just fine. They're going to be, as I predicted at the start of the year, they're an average MLB team who's hoping for a lot of upside in Glasnow and Meadows.
Meanwhile, you got the Dodgers as the #1 seed coming out of the NL. You got them as a winner from the deadline as well.
Yeah, and look, they got Manny Machado a couple weeks ago. They get Dozier today. They get a bullpen arm in John Axford. Great business for the Dodgers. I mean, they filled a bunch of positions of need. They go home happy. I mean, they didn't need to make another crazy blockbuster trade, but getting someone like Dozier and Machado is very good for their infield that needed a lot of help. They have a ton of depth in the outfield, so they're fine there, but they needed more infield depth. And getting John Axford is totally fine, seeing as, look, bullpen arms are important. You need people to eat up innings, and you don't want it to be, some of these elite guys, especially with the fact that Ross Stripling, I know he's a starting pitcher, he did just go on the DL. So the more pitchers you can have on a roster while you're making a run at the playoffs, the better. I mean, hell, Axford might not even make the playoff roster. He needs to eat up innings, no problem with it at all.
All right, you got the Atlanta Braves as a winner here today as well, Harris. They landed Gausman.
They get Gausman. They get Adam Duvall. I know they weren't able to get Chris Archer, but I think that's fine. I think overall for Archer, he might have been a little too expensive for their taste. And apparently in that Kevin Gausman deal as well, they also got Darren O'Day from the Orioles. So I like what Kevin Gausman's going to bring to the Braves as a number 2 or number 3 starter for them. I like Duvall's power. They need more home runs on this team. So, look, the Braves are tooling up. And if you're the Braves with all this young talent, go for it. Make a run. The Nationals are bad. The Mets were terrible. And you're a half a game behind the Phillies. Make a run for it. Go Braves. I'm all for everyone trying to make a run at the playoffs.
Who is the biggest MLB trade deadline winner? Hit us up in comments. We're on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. All right, so the Cakeinator in comments is asking about the losers. So let's get to them, the Nationals.
Huge loser. Like, what is your plan here? Like, I understand if your plan was to stay put and just believe in this team, fine. But why trade Brandon Kinsler? Like, if you believe in this team, why are you trading away good relief pitchers? Like, why is he the only player that they traded? Like, did he sleep with the GM's wife or something? Like, it makes no sense why out of all players, Brandon Kinsler is the one that got moved. Like, he was stunned. The rest of the team is pretty confused as well. It makes no sense. And I understand keeping Bryce Harper. It's really tough to trade a guy of his caliber, but no sense. Like, what is the plan here?
You're left wondering.
You're left wondering. You're also, you know what? I love karma in sports. I hope that the karma gods of sports strike down the Nationals again, and Brandon Kinsler is the one who closes out the series win for the Cubs against the Nationals. I pray that this comes back and bites him in the butt, because it makes no sense at all why they did this.
All right, let's go to the Mets as well.
They're always a loser. The Mets are always the loser. The Asdrubal Cabrera trade was nice, but I mean, look, they don't trade away Joey Bats. For whatever reason, they don't trade away any of their starting pitchers. I get that they want to compete next year, but like, what the hell are the Mets doing? Like, this is just typical Mets not having a plan, doing things as it comes and rolling with the punches and usually failing. Like, I would have loved to see this team actually, maybe try to make a move and make a run. But instead, what they did today, their biggest move was put Yoenis Cespedes on the 60-day DL. So, just this Mets team is so utterly disappointing. They didn't even make a trade. Like, what are they doing? This is such a waste of time.
Who is the biggest MLB trade deadline loser? Hit us up in comments. I think the answer is quite obvious, Harris. The Washington Nationals qualify as the biggest loser of the trade deadline because they trade away Kitzler. They're in the playoff hunt in a sense, and
I want to make one more, one honorable mention for a trade deadline winner. Baltimore Orioles. They blew it up. They blew it up. And if you're going to blow it up right. Get a ton of prospects back. They've traded over the past couple of weeks, including today, Jonathan Scope, Kevin Gausman, Manny Machado, Brad Brock, Darren O'Day, and Zach Britton. Blow it up, baby.
A lot of people.
Blow it up. And they got a couple nice packages as well. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get in this Gausman package as well for the Scope package. So I think they'll get some good prospects, especially for Scope. I think they might get like a big-time guy for him from the Brewers.
When you consider the Orioles a winner, that makes me happy, Harris, as a fan.
That was just for you. I live to make you smile, Cam.
Shout out to the O's.